Welcome back. If you just joined us, watching Channels Television, celebrating 21 years of professional broadcasting. This is the news at 10, a reminder of our major stories tonight. President Muhammadu Buhari addresses plenary at the 71st United Nations General Assembly, laments the number of people displaced by Boko Haram. Chief Justice of Nigeria moves to end conflicting judgments by courts of equal jurisdiction, says investigation ongoing on erring judges. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo advocates solutions to Nigeria's economic recession with policies designed to fit the country's peculiar situation. And at least 17 people die after street protests in the Democratic Republic of Congo against President Joseph Kabila as they turn violent. Just a reminder that all our top stories you can find on our websites, channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. You can also log on to m.channelstv.com to view us live on a mobile device and download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. Besides the news and updates, the Channels TV app has an eyewitness feature. We encourage you to use it to share those pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the eyewitness menu and follow the instructions. And here's Gloria Omezoke in Abuja. I'm handing over to her right now. Hi, Gloria.
Hello, Amarachi. On the judiciary, the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court of Nigeria is asking judges to be firmer and unbiased in their decisions. Speaking against the backdrop of the performance of the High Courts during the last legal year, Justice Ibrahim Auta challenged judges to ensure that the decisions they take do not create room for anarchy.
Of a judge is the highest position of trust and confidence that God can give to any human being. Trust that you seek to judge your fellow human beings and their activities. I therefore urge my brother judges to search their conscience before taking any judicial decision. You do not have to know all the law, but your decision must be one that even the party who lost will have cause to appreciate your intellect and scholarship and call to duty. You must therefore take decision that you can defend even before God.
The Vice President says the country is in its current state of recession owing to the activities of the Niger Delta militants, as no country can lose 1 million barrels of oil per day without suffering tremendously. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo is of the view that Nigeria can only get out of recession by looking at only those solutions that will take full consideration of Nigeria's peculiar situation. At a quarterly business briefing with private sector stakeholders at the presidential villa, the Vice President said Nigeria cannot afford the usual error of generalization and speculation that will not help the country. Our correspondent, Omelogo Nadi, reports.
And we take your feedback.
This presidential quarterly business forum, which has in attendance the Vice President, Ministers of Budget, Finance, Trade and Industry, and Captains of Industries, is a part of efforts to tackle headlong the economic recession in the country. The Vice President, who earmarks power, security in the Niger Delta region and improved business environment among important things that must be addressed in the short term, says Nigeria's current situation is as a result of activities in the Niger Delta region.
If we did not have the vandalization of pipelines in Niger Delta, we probably would not have entered negative territory by now. I mean, there's no way in the world that you can lose 1 million barrels of oil a day when you are projecting 2.2 million barrels of oil a day, and you won't suffer tremendously, especially where that same revenue is what drives your non-oil revenues. So I think that it's a different ball game, and even in looking at our solutions, we really have to look at those solutions that are peculiar to our circumstances. And, I would, really want to respectfully urge that we try and, focus on the type of problems that we have and look at what solutions can come from there.
The recession notwithstanding, the finance minister says Nigeria will borrow to pump into the economy for capital projects, even as she insists that interest rates must be reduced.
In a recession, we need to reduce the cost of borrowing, and government is also borrowing. So to release more money for capital, I need a lower borrowing cost. Our view is our problems are long-term. We are going to need to continue to borrow to pump money into the capital spend of this economy for the next few years. So let's be realistic about it.
While local investors feel neglected despite being in greater majority than the foreign investors for which the government is looking to attract back to Nigeria, the Minister for Budget has reassuring words.
We are determined to make it easier to do business in Nigeria. And we believe that working together with the private sector, we will surely transform this economy.
Access to finance, foreign exchange, high interest rates, transport and infrastructure deficit, and high energy and power. These are the 5 top challenges of the nation's economy, which have become the top priorities as government fine-tunes discussions for collaboration with domestic businesses, who they say ought to come first before the foreign investors, especially in the recession. Omelogo, Nadi, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the Vice President has advocated reforms in the nation's criminal justice system and the decentralization of Nigeria Police Force for effective service delivery. Professor Oshibajo was speaking at an event in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, where he restated the resolve of the federal government not to relent in the anti-corruption crusade. He called on Nigerians to rise against corrupt individuals and groups who are fighting back to derail the anti-corruption campaign. As Nigeria grapples with economic recession, the National Bureau of Statistics has announced plans to embark on a survey to provide new data on the condition of women and children in Nigeria. The areas of concern for the Bureau and its partners include health, education, and child protection, amongst others. According to Nigeria's Statistician General, the Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey is the 5th in the country and will require over 400 personnel to visit more than 35,000 households across the country. Our correspondent Ibrahim Adra reports.
Women and children make up a sizable percentage of the Nigerian population. It is therefore safe to say planning for this critical population will have profound impact on the fortune of the country. Those plannings, experts agree, must be based on reliable data. At this press briefing in Abuja, the National Bureau of Statistics says it is set to work to produce such data in 3 months. For 92 days, enumerators will be visiting 60 homes each in all the states, including the FCT.
We're expected to have conducted this round in 2015. However, we tried to dodge election year to allow for free movement of our field officers, and therefore we postponed to 2016.
The Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey will cost the Bureau of Statistics, UNICEF and other partners 1.2 billion naira. It planned to deploy for the first time computer-assisted personal interview, CAPI, to collect data.
This round is the first time that we're going to do a mixed state level. Okay, so we're going to generate statistics at the senatorial level for the 2 biggest population states of Nigeria, which is Kano and Lagos.
Results from the survey will help authorities in planning for water and sanitation, curb child mortality, and monitor progress of the SDGs.
When you have up-to-date information about the situation of children and mother and all other members of the population, you're already having the tools with which you base your policy and program. program implementation upon.
The data collected, they say, would also be used to monitor welfare of children. Ibrahim Adra, Channels Television News.
And that's it from the nation's capital. It's back to you, Amarachi.
Thanks a lot, Gloria. Back in Lagos, as the National Assembly resumes from its recess tomorrow, the lower chamber of the House of Representatives would probably experience a stormy session. That's if the lawmakers decide to deliberate on the contentious issue of alleged budget padding raised by the removed chairman of Appropriations Committee, Honorable Abdulmumin Jibrin. Speaking on our program, Politics Today, tonight, Honorable Jibrin dismissed reports that he has over £1 million domiciled in an account allegedly operated by him in the UK. The lawmaker goes on to allege that he has evidence from the EFCC that Speaker Yakubu Dogara diverted more than 2 federal projects to his personal businesses.
Just take it for instance that tomorrow the members sit down and decides that, okay, Honorable Jibrin, you're suspended, Speaker Dogara continue as Speaker. Of course, everything he's done in the budget, I will continue. Of course, external investigation is going on. The EFCC, the ICPC are also investigating the matter. The fantastic guys working on this case on the EFCC just today had a meeting with me. And when I was talking about the Speaker diverting 1 water project to his farm, it turns out that he diverted 4 projects. 2 water projects, 1 feeder road, and a full component of rural electrification. These were discoveries made by the EFCC. So you now understand when I try to explain that even the budget itself is hijacked, is taken away from the chairman appropriation. They couldn't come up with anything. So now what they are trying to do is to go all out, my business life before coming to the National Assembly and the rest, to see what they can bring in. Of course, they started with a 17 billion naira issue to the 418 million. All they went to the EFCC and discovered that it is not fact. When it comes to issue that has to do with my own allegation as a person, as a private citizen of this country, I will address them. On this one, I can assure you that it's fake, it's false, it's a blatant lie. I've denied it, and I've taken all the legal processes to ensure that the public understand that it's false.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Central Bank of Nigeria begins 2-day crucial interest rate decision meeting. We'll have more in business news. Please join us again.